Hello, everybody. I'm Carrie George from CIBN Connect, and tonight I'm going to answer a question that we've been getting lately about why would my existing networking group want to join a larger group like CIBN Connect and come under our umbrella. So I'm going to talk today about what some of the advantages of that might be for your group, besides the fact that everything just works better when we all work together. That would be key to the whole conversation. But there are some really great advantages to joining us, and we've put together some packages for these kinds of events to happen. So I want to talk a little bit about that and why you would do that. So there are a few reasons why we have recently been approached by different groups and asked, can our whole group join CIBN Connect? So one of the questions that came up is, it says, well, because our group is falling apart. We were meeting before everything happened with the pandemic, and we had 40 people coming regularly, and now we're down to like 15 or 20. So we don't know how to bring people on in an online way, and we're wondering, if we could join a larger online network. And the answer to that is yes, you can. And we might be able to help you in a lot of different ways. So let's start with that. Yes, you can. And how will you do it? We'll get to that in a minute. Another reason why someone might want to take their whole group and join CIBN is because it's a lot of work to run a networking organization. So a lot of networking organizations get started or a group gets started because somebody wanted to do more networking, and maybe there wasn't an opportunity for them to belong to a group. In many of the groups that are out there, there's only one person per industry. And so the industries like real estate agents, mortgage brokers, life insurance agents, website designers, accountants, bookkeepers, these industries usually fill up really fast. And when they fill up really fast, there's no opportunity for people in those industries to get in. And they usually have to go through a waiting process or maybe an interview process. They could interview, in some cases, 20 real estate agents and only take one into the group, in that kind of a group. So over the years, many networking groups have gotten started as kind of a solo unit because one person from one of those industries wanted to get into a group and they couldn't. So then they started a group of their own, and they thought this would be a great way to get some networking in. And it is. I mean, it's fabulous. But one thing that people don't usually count on is the amount of work that comes with this. There's a lot of work that comes with this. And we've met people who were, like, example, a mortgage broker, and they really wanted to get into a group. So they started a group, they got it going. And then all of a sudden they realized, well, wow, now I got to manage the events for this group. I got to bring these people together. I have to email them all the time and keep everybody on the same page. And it's a lot of work. And it was more work than what I had thought I was going to have to do. So in that case, we do all of those kinds of group management things, and we're very, very good at it. So you can bring your whole group and join CIBN, and we can help you. Recently, I was approached by a group in a city in the United States where they actually have about 1,000 members in a group. And it was put together originally by an accountant, bookkeeper, who wanted to get more business for her business. So she built a website. She got some collaborators. They had a few different things going on, like regular meetings and monthly meetings and weekly meetings. And then as time went on, it got to be a lot of work for her to manage, and her accounting practice was growing as well. And some of the people who had originally been kind of helping out and volunteering fell off the wagon because volunteerism takes up a lot of time. And when you're trying to run a group and you're trying to run your business at the same time, one of those is going to have to suffer more than the other. One's going to get all your attention, right? So this is what was happening in this case. The gal started to spend more and more time in her accounting practice, and she didn't have time to spend on the networking and to keeping that whole thing going. It becomes an animal. It needs to be fed. So if that's not your first love, that's not what you want to do, or you started doing it just to get more business for yourself, and that's, now you're ready to move on and get back into, the business that you originally wanted to do, we're here to help. That's the kind of thing that we do. So we're actually going to be taking on a whole group like that from the United States on that kind of a idea that, you know, we're going to help take over that website. We're going to help take over the group. We're going to run some groups for them. We're going to invite them in to be part of the larger CIBN family, where they're going to be able to participate in the networking events that we have going on every week, as well as our mixer that we have every month, and our entrepreneur book club. And they're going to be able to take the courses that we offer, like social media boot camp and the 7-day challenge to create 700 pieces of content. So when a group gets adopted by CIBN, they get all that with it. So it can be very, very profitable for everybody who wants to participate in it. There's another reason why people might want to have their group adopted by CIBN, and that is if the group members are struggling with things like technology. That's a huge issue for many business owners today, is they really don't know how to do stuff like, you know, manage their social media, Facebook page, their Twitter, their LinkedIn. They're not sure how to talk business to business or business to consumer online. They don't know how to set up appointments online. And during this time right now, when there's this huge pivot that's, you know, people are trying to do, you know, many business owners are struggling with that. So CIBN Connect has been incredibly successful with helping our members make that pivot. And actually 2020, even the summer of 2020, has been the most successful year ever for some of our members. And not just members that, you know, you would expect who do things online. You know, one of our great success stories right now is John Nielsen from Franklin Auto. He's an auto mechanic, and he has been able to get a lot done this year and actually had the best summer and the best October that he's had in 18 years of business because of his involvement with CIBN Connect. So we can help all kinds of businesses and all kinds of industry with that kind of stuff, with technology and social media and pivoting, and it's all part of the membership package. So that might be another reason why you want to bring your whole group on board, because there's some people in the group who are going to be more savvy than others. But do the savvy ones have time to help the ones that are not savvy, right? We have that time because this is what we do. This is our full-time gig. We help business owners not just survive, but thrive. And that's part of it as we bring them all on for that. So, you know, that's another reason why you might want to join. Another reason you might want to join CIBN in your whole group is that your group will then have a larger influence. It will have access suddenly to a much larger market. That market might be local, but it also might be regional, national, or international. CIBN Connect has been growing, and we now have groups all over North America. We continuously have drop-ins coming in from all over Europe and Africa and, you know, the Philippines, all over the world. And our groups here in Canada and the United States are growing, and everything is, you know, expanding rapidly. And now we're taking on whole groups at a time. So we are in position for a huge growth splurge this year. It's going to take off. So we're very, very excited about that. So you can have huge influence by having your whole group join. That's just another advantage to, you know, to growing like that, and to joining the network. Another thing that we offer is the training. So this is another reason you might want to join CIBN, because if your whole group comes, then you all get to participate in things like social media boot camp, you know, how to make 700 posts or 700 pieces of content in 7 days that you can put on online. Those things are all covered in your membership fees. So all of that can come, you know, be part of why you want to join the CIBN as a group, so that all of your people in your group can learn these things and you just be even better at networking. We realized a few years ago that social media is really the only new thing in networking, and nobody was addressing the fact that business owners needed to know that. So, and especially having it, you know, intermingled with their networking, right? Because networking's been around for about 2,000 years, or as long as people have, really. I mean, I'm sure the first person who was like selling something out of a cave referred his friend who had a tent down by the water. You know, networking has been around a long time. And groups, the way that we network today when we're doing live networking, that kind of stuff has been going on from at least since the Middle Ages. Merchant guilds were gathering in Europe in the Middle Ages, and people were sitting around the table across from each other and giving each other warm referrals and leads since that time, at least. Until now, it's kind of looked the same all the time. But when social media started to take off, about 15 years ago, and just, things started to change in that regard, there became a huge opportunity that networking organizations were not taking advantage of. Now, my personal background was in online marketing. I was one of the first people to start selling that to other companies. So I was an early adopter of social media. I had 5,000 friends on Facebook before, most people even knew that Facebook was a thing. So I was, already learning that. I was starting to do things like email marketing. I was following, all kinds of different email marketing gurus way back before anyone even knew that that was the way we should be marketing ourselves. So as I started doing that and showing other business owners how to do that, that's when I started networking. And at first I was just going to other people's networks, and eventually we took over a network and then found out that we were really in love with networking and we love working with business owners. So we started to show those skills to business owners, and we found out it made a huge difference in their businesses. And that social media, when it's connected with networking, that you've heard the term social networking. Well, that's what it really becomes, and that's what it can be more of, is social networking. And it's not, I hear people say, I do some online networking, I'm on LinkedIn. Well, goody for you, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about online networking, I'm talking about going to an online meeting where you are actually sitting in a group of people, like on Zoom, with 20, 40 people at a time, and you're sharing leads and referrals back and forth, and you're booking one-on-one appointments with each other, and you're getting to know, like, and trust each other. And I know when we first started doing this in 2019, people were saying, oh, that's impossible. Nobody's going to give a lead to somebody they haven't met in person. And we found out in 2019 that that wasn't true. They do give leads to each other. In fact, we saw business owners increasing their income by thousands of dollars a year in revenue with online meetings. So it wasn't a surprise to us that when the pandemic happened in March 2020, that people would actually, revert to doing that, right? We saw that was coming. We saw the writing on the wall way back in 2019. In fact, we were researching it for 3 years already before 2019. That was just when we started our first test cases. So we knew that if you took the online tools like Zoom and you added these different components like LinkedIn and Facebook, and you showed your business owners how to actually utilize these things together with their networking, it would take the live networking that they're doing, and it would have thousands of connections that are real, that are actually in their community, and it would increase their overall revenue significantly. And we found that that was true starting in 2019 as we had some test cases develop, and now in 2020, we've seen that over and over again as we've expanded across the USA and Canada. So these are some of the reasons you might want to join with CIBN Connect, because we got all this going on, and it's just going to grow from here. Now, I know there's been some concerns. People will ask me, well, I got this group, and we have a website, and we have branding of our own, and we have a name, and we have a meetup group or a Facebook page as well, and we have 1,000 members, or we have 20 members, or we have 10 members. We have, whatever it is, whatever the number is, but we have an identity, we have a culture already, and we don't want to give that up and just join CIBN. And I get it. I hear that. This one group that we're taking on actually right now in North Carolina is actually has all that stuff, and it's a branded group. I mean, people know it in their community. So when we adopt that group and they come under the CIBN umbrella, we're actually not making them change their name, okay? We're not making them give up their identity. We're not making them give up their culture at all. We're actually there to add value to them. We're not there to take away what they have. So they get to keep all of that. And there will be probably something that'll go on the website that will say something like and a partner with CIBN Connect, and there'll be a little logo CIBN on there somewhere. But their main logo will stay where it is. Their website will stay where it is. They just now have help in the management and the running of that group, and all of their members get all the benefits of being part of CIBN. So I know another question that people will ask is, well, what about the cost? You know, the group that I'm involved in doesn't have any membership fees, okay? Well, first clue is why you don't have all the other goodies we have is because you don't have any membership fees, okay? Because you can't do all the stuff that we're doing for free. I'm sorry. You just can't. I mean, this is our full-time gig, and yes, I need to eat. My kids need to eat. And the members of my team, they all need to eat as well. So we have a professional network where we have staff, we have things that are managed, we have events that are going on, we have training that's going on, and yes, there's some cost to these things. But the good news is we've kept the costs really low for the user. And I mean super, super low. I used to actually, our membership was, before the whole online thing, it was $700 up front and $150 a month ongoing. And the fees were higher because it cost money. We had overhead, downtown offices, and we had bought a lot of food. In fact, my my coach used to say, my business coach used to say, well, Carrie, you feed more people than the food bank. And he wasn't entirely wrong. We were spending about $180,000 a year on food when we were running that organization. That's just in one city. We would do about 500 live events a year. It's a very expensive way to do business networking. As we started to develop the online network, we realized that this was actually less expensive and therefore could be rolled out to the consumer yourself, a business owner, entrepreneur, or a professional at a much, much lower cost. So our regular networking, before we give you any deal for joining as a group, okay, which we probably will do, but our regular networking is only $59 a month. So that's very, very affordable, and it's much less than what any of our competitors would be charging for these kinds of things. What we are actually offering in the package of that is massive. There's all kinds of events, all kinds of training. There's a video portal with $6,000 worth of training in it, just like that you get as soon as you join the network. So yes, there'll be some fees involved, and I mean there's fees with mastermind program too. Those are more. Masterminds anywhere else are $10,000 to $40,000 a year. At CIBN, we have been charging about $400 a month before the pandemic, but we've got a lot of stuff packed into smaller packages now for everybody. So this is what we're going to do when a group comes on. First of all, it's a case-by-case scenario. We have to look at the group. Is there 10 people? Is there 1,000 people? Right? Were you paying any fees? Were you paying $20 a month? Were you paying nothing? Were you paying $1,000 for a mastermind or $5,000 for a mastermind? What were you paying? So all that's taken into consideration. Then there is a trial period that we will initiate for the members. And it'll go something like this. If you have a group of people who decide to join us all at once, then there's going to be a really, really crazy cool deal like $20 for 2 months or something like that to check us out. Okay, and then fees don't start until at the end of that time, and they may even be negotiated as less than normal if you bring on a whole group. Okay, so we're willing to negotiate. We're willing to work with you. We want to bring on your whole group and help you, because we're seeing groups orphaned out there. We're seeing people that are, you know, they started something and people were excited and they joined a group, but then they weren't able to continue giving them the high level of service that they had at first, you know, promised or had at first done because they got busy in their own business. Running a business network is a full-time job. It's a full-time gig. You can't do this while you are a real estate agent or while you are a mortgage broker or while you are an accountant and build a successful practice. I mean, it's one or the other. So for us, this is it. This is what we do. We do this full-time. We have a whole team of people working with us. We have staff. We have team members. I have partners who've actually bought into CIBN. And then we also have subcontractors that we hire out. I have 2 personal virtual assistants, that work just to keep me going, right? So we have help, we have support, we have a whole group of people already there and ready to go. And that's how we can help you with your network and keep your network going, because we're doing this full time. So I made some notes here. I'm just gonna have a look here. Additional benefits. Yes, there are some additional benefits to this as well. We have put together, for instance, the CIBN Connect magazine, okay? You join as a group. One of the things that we can do, if you have more than 20 members who join as a group, we may choose in that package when we onboard you to feature your entire group in an upcoming edition of the magazine. So that would be cool, wouldn't it? We may do a video or a series of videos for your members, specifically featuring them to the broader network. So there are some things that we can do as well that will make it very, very sexy and make it very, very nice, so that everybody kind of gets introduced to you and gets to know you faster in your group. We actually have a love of networking. This is who we are. It's what we do. And we're here to help you grow and grow your business and grow your existing network. So if you know of a network that is 10 people, 20 people, 1,000 people that needs some help right now, we'd love to help you. And you can see that my phone number is right there across the bottom of the screen, 403-397-1909. It says text. Yes, text me. Don't leave me a message, okay? You can try calling me, but don't leave me a message. I hardly ever check my messages. Just text me, and I'd love to get back to you and talk to you about your group. We have a brochure that can go out to your group to explain to them what is going on, and we can try and onboard the whole group, or as many of them as possible. And of course, we have incentives to help them do that all together at once. Oh, I know another question you might ask. Will I make any money if I bring my group? Possibly. If you're a leader of that group and you initiated that group, of course, that's really important, right? We want to honor the leader or the person who put all the work into it. So they, first of all, may have some money coming to them, or we might set up something like an affiliate fee so that every person that comes over, they get a certain amount. We also can do a finder's fee for the person who brings us the group. And again, it's going to be measured on what is the size of the group and how many people joined, and what was the success of the whole transition. So yes, you can, but we will be monitored according to what the outcome was. Okay. Another question I've had, though, about the financial end of it, I had a lady not very long ago ask me if her whole group could join, and she wanted to know, if my group joins, will you make a donation to my favorite charity? And the answer, of course, is yes, absolutely, sure. Again, it has to do with the transition, how many people join and so on, but we'd be pleased to do that. That's a wonderful request. Another question was, can I keep my existing organization? I might come back to it someday, and can a certain percentage of each sale or membership come back to me? And probably, yeah, that's very likely. Again, it's a case-by-case scenario, and we have to look at everything, but absolutely, we're open-minded about that. And I did make an arrangement like that just recently with another group. So certainly, we just, bring it to the table. Let's talk about it. Let's find out who you are. What is the culture of your group? I think a few things you'd have to have in common with us, like it needs to be about business, okay? We're not adopting groups that are, about other subjects. It has to be about business. It has to be, it has to be a win-win situation for everybody who is involved. So if your group involves entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals from B2C or B2B, then you're right in the right channel of what we would be looking for and what our members would be wanting to meet as well. So that would be just a win-win-win for you, for us, and for our existing members. And that's the kind of scenario that we would like to see happen. So just reach out to us. Also, our website is thecibn.com if you want to go look us up and find out more about us. If you want to know our story, I guess I can tell you a little bit about that right now. We got started in 2013 officially. We had been networking for a couple of years prior to that and starting to build a network in one city. But in 2012, at the end of the year, we actually purchased a larger network, and that's where we got things kicked off. And mostly we did live events. I have personally been in over 6,000 live networking events. And I have also participated in or facilitated more than 2,000 mastermind events. And masterminds are different than networking. They're about strategy sessions. And they're usually, it's a higher cost to be involved with a mastermind group than it is for just pure networking. But at CIBN, one of the unique things about us is that we have both masterminds and networking. And we make them affordable for business owners, and you basically tell us what it is that you want to participate in. But when you bring your whole group on, when we have that trial period, we usually give you access to both levels at CIBN for a period of time so that your members can actually experience mastermind as well as networking. And the reason we do that is because we know that the likelihood of you going out of business or any of your members going out of business due to business failure reduces significantly if you're part of that program. So we haven't lost anybody in our mastermind program to business failure, I think, ever. I don't recall one. Anyway, so I mean, in 10, 11 years of doing this, that's pretty darn good. And we live in a pretty recessed economy, actually. We started here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, which is like the oil and gas center of Canada. It's kind of like Dallas is to Texas. And oil and gas has been taking a crap kicking for the last few years here. So even in the middle of that crisis, we haven't been losing businesses to business failure. Now, when the pandemic started, we lost 3 out of hundreds of members. We lost 3 right away, and mainly they just went, "Oh my gosh, I'm done. I'm out of here." They just gave up, and that did happen. But the reality is that they weren't mastermind members anyway. And I think one of the big reasons why they left is because they didn't really tie into the network really well, and they didn't know that we could help them. We had other members like John Nielsen, who was also in the mastermind program, but who knew what we could do, or at least suspected we might be able to help. And even though other auto mechanics were going out of business all around him, and some of his friends went out of business, when he reached out for help, we were able to actually throw him a lifeline. And not only were we able to get the word out that he was open, that he was an essential business, but, through the network, he met some powerful marketing people who had a great reputation for getting things done and had done it for us and had done it for others. And we were able to get them connected, and they started getting the message out on an ongoing basis. And then the whole network pulled behind them and started taking their cars in to get the work done on the vehicles. And it completely changed everything for him. And what has happened is he had the best year he's ever had in 18 years of business. So that's just one example of what has gone on at CIBN. We've had some other incredible success stories. I could tell you about a small town company that has coffee. They roast their own coffee, and they have a coffee brand. It's called Clearwater County Coffee. And they live in Alhambra, Alberta, which is a tiny little community. I'm not sure if there's 100 people who live in Alhambra. And they are about 3 hours or 2 hours, maybe 2 hours, I think, from Calgary, which is a bigger city of a million people. But they, through their interaction with CIBN's, really, I think she joined in February of 2020. So just before everything went crazy. And what has happened for her business over the summer is, like, she has figured out how to, through the collaboration and the brainstorming and mastermind program, has actually figured out how to get her business online, how to get it selling coffee, not just in Canada, but also in the United States. And she has grown her business significantly and changed her business model significantly over the last few months. And that has been a huge, huge success story at CIBN as well. Her name is Michelle Phillips-Nystrom. So we have many of these stories. And if you reach out to us for more information about bringing your entire group to CIBN, We actually have a great pamphlet that has their stories in it, their videos, and you can even click through and meet them on LinkedIn because we share our network with you as you share with us. So we're looking forward to meeting you. I think that we could really do some awesome things for you and your network. And as long as your network is wanting to, work together and collaborate, we're open to collaboration, and we'll figure out how to do it together because we want to create win-win-win situations for everybody that's involved, and see you as a business owner make more money, increase your bottom line revenue, and that's what we exist for. So I'm Carrie George. I'm with CIBN Connect, and I want to wish you an awesome evening and happy capitalism.